If you're a high school athletic director, you probably had at least a few teams with their seasons last year coming down to just one or two plays. The question I want to ask you is this: did your teams lose because of talent or because your athlete's mental game just wasn't ready? I'm Daniel and I run MindFit Academy. And in the next 10 minutes or so, I want to walk you through a simple way that ADs are closing the mental gap across their entire program, all without adding extra practice hours and without putting one more thing on your plate. Here's the reality that you already live in. Your athletes are juggling AP classes, club teams, social media, recruiting pressure. Your parents have spent thousands of dollars on travel ball and lessons. They're emotionally invested and they let you know it. Plus, you're being judged on three things at once: wins, culture, and how your program handles mental health optics in the community. When that pressure is not managed, you know what it looks like. It looks like athletes tightening up in big moments and your coaches scratching their heads asking why. And it looks like burnout and quitting. Kids who started the season excited but finished it asking for a meeting with you. It looks like parent drama landing on your desk and filling up your coach's time. This is what every athletic director already wants. It's a program full of athletes who are confident, resilient, and coachable. Parents that are aligned with that culture and fewer fires to put out. And the ability to point to something concrete when a principal or the board asks, "What are we doing about mental performance in our athletic department?" That is not a luxury anymore. It is the new standard. From the schools I work with, there are almost always three hidden risks sitting underneath the surface. I call this the mental edge gap. Risk number one is pressure moments. Your athletes might look great in practice. They're sharp, they're locked in, doing everything right. But then the lights come on Friday night and they tighten up. You've watched this in film. The skill is there, but the mental side just wasn't. They're losing it between the years. Risk number two is burnout and stress. Multi sport kids, club schedules, AP classes, college recruiting. By the time playoffs hit, half your roster is fried. You see it in the postseason and in injury rates. You see it in kids who quietly walk away before their senior year. And risk number three is parent and coach friction. This might be the biggest one. It's the car ride home, sideline coaching, the emails to your inbox nonstop. The parent who shows up in your office wanting a meeting about playing time. Here's the part that most programs miss: they're training their body and skills year round. Strength and conditioning, it has a system. Skill work has a system. But the mental side is left to just chance. You might have a motivational speaker once a year, a coach who assigns a book, or a kid who happens to just be tough all on his own. That is the mental edge gap. And it's where most of your worst problems are actually coming from. So here's what we build to close that gap, and it's in four different layers. MindFit Academy is a year round mental performance system designed for your entire athletic department or individual teams, depending on how it works for you. But the athlete layer, these are 10 to 15-minute mobile lessons that your athletes, high school kids, will work through on their own phone. It's not therapy, it's not meditation videos, it's real mental reps, the same way that you get reps in the weight room. The coach layer, this is plug and play practice routines and scripts that drop inside what your coaches are already doing. No new certifications, no 12-week course. They have to they don't have to finish a 12-week course before they can actually run this. The parent layer is short videos and templates that fix parent drama and bad sideline behavior. This is the piece that quietly does the most damage to your program. And it's the piece that nobody else actually talks about. And then the reporting layer. Pre, mid, and postseason assessments, you get actual data so that when you're sitting in front of the board or your principal or your booster club, you can point to something concrete and say, here is the impact that we're having beyond just the win loss column. Your athletes will develop three skills. I'll go over this quickly. These are just three of the skills: reset, bouncing back from mistakes; lock in, staying dialed in, having actual focus; believe, it's the identity and confidence layer. These are installed in three different phases that will actually be applied no matter what part of the season a particular team is in. Phase 1 is the mind, identity, vision, confidence, mindset. This is where belief, for example, gets built in. Number 2 is the moment. This is where pressure, mistakes, focus, routines, okay? This is where lock in and reset for skills, those get installed. And phase 3 is movement, reflection, resilience, and getting ready for next year. All three of these skills and more are installed and reinforced as a system. So instead of one off motivational talks, you get mental reps baked into the entire year for every team, every coach, and every athlete in your entire department. Let's look at what Coach Miller had to say about this. I personally love that they were able to win close games rather than falling apart at the end. Coach Abby was able to help out with the parents and finally was looking forward to parent nights. Really quick, these are three questions that ADs and coaches always ask. Number one is, do we have time for this? We designed this specifically so it does not add practice hours. Athletes do most of it on their own phones. Coaches get plug and play tools, scripts, drills, and parent handouts that just drop into what they're already doing. Now, here's what one of our basketball coaches had to say about that. He's a full time teacher, was able to apply the system in less than 10 minutes a week for practice. Question number 2 is that, is this therapy? No. We frame this as mental fitness and a competitive advantage, not clinical mental health. It's performance, culture, and coachability. If a kid needs clinical care, we refer that out. That's not what this is. This is the equivalent of strength training, just for the mental side. And 3, can I afford this? Most programs invest less in a full MindFit annual license than they spend on one assistant coach. And it covers every athlete, every team, all year. Plus, because you are getting reporting and assessment data, you can actually justify it in your budget conversation. You're not just hoping that it works, you can actually show that it works with real data. So, here's what I'm offering if you've watched this far. Let's hop on a mental game plan call. It's a working call. It is not a sales pitch. On the call, we will do three things. One, we will build a quick mental edge scorecard for one of your teams: green, yellow, red, across pressure moments, burnout, and parent friction. So you can see where those mental gaps are. Two, we will map out what a full year MindFit rollout would actually look like in your specific program. Which teams, when, how to bring coaches and parents on board without overloading everybody. And three, we will outline an approval path that fits how your school handles budget boosters and admin. So you walk out of the call with a real path forward, not just a brochure. And honestly, if it's not a fit, you keep the scorecard and you can use the framework on your own. I am not going to chase you. But if you do want help, we will get you installed. We'll talk about getting your program set on an annual license so that every team in your department gets access preseason, in season, and postseason. Under this video, there is a calendar that you can book a mental game plan call. Pick a time that works for you, and I will see you there.